after the 49ers traded up from the 12th to 3rd overall selection in the draft. It could mean that Jimmy G is available via trade. Latest reports are the Patriots either want to trade for Garoppolo or move up themselves in the draft to select a quarterback, either of which will be easy to pull off at this point. So, Shannon, now, what does Bill Belichick do for a quarterback?
Skip, I still believe he'd love to get his hands on Jimmy G. We know what he thought of Jimmy Garoppolo. He liked Jimmy G. He thought so much of him. He was willing to move on from Tom Brady, even after he had 5 Super Bowls. He had 1 in 5 Super Bowls. He was willing, says, I have this much confidence in Jimmy Garoppolo that he's the quarterback of the future for the New England Patriots. That's what he was willing to do. So to get an opportunity, I believe to get an opportunity to get him back, to put him back in that system, to get an opportunity to also show, see, I told you what he could do in this system. So I believe that's what he wants. Now, he's at 15. And I know everybody keeps saying he's going to trade up, but Skip, in my 20 years, I don't remember Coach Belichick moving up in the draft. He normally moves back and gains more picks as opposed to moving up and giving away picks. Yep. Now, we've never seen Coach Belichick spend this kind of money in free agency either. So I guess this might be an outlier year. 2021 might be the year Coach Belichick spends a ton of money and moves up in the draft. But given based on his history, we haven't seen him do that. It makes a lot of sense for Jimmy G. They didn't invest as much money as people think in Cam. Jimmy would have to restructure that contract. 27 is a little bit too much for the Patriots to digest, considering they're only $14 million under the cap right now. And plus, you have your rookie class that you're going to have to get signed. So for me, Skip, given that the money that they gave Cam is not a lot of guaranteed money, which would easily be moved off of if they were to go in this direction, lead me to believe they're not totally, fully bought into Cam. And I believe that they would rather, all things being equal, if Jimmy Garoppolo were to become available, I believe that would be the direction that they would move in. I could be totally wrong, but given Coach Belichick's history and what he thinks of Jimmy G, and even when he went to 49ers, what did Jimmy say? Coach Belichick texted him. Would text him after games. Okay. I believe they would move back in this. But the thing is, the same thing, these are two basically the same guys. Jimmy can't stay healthy, Cam can't stay healthy. That's what so basically, either way, Skip, you're mortgaging this year possibly on guys that can't stay healthy.
Okay, let's start with the 49ers. You watched Kyle Shanahan basically grow up around your locker room as the son of your head coach, Mike Shanahan.
I did.
You have nothing but the highest regard for his offensive capabilities.
No question.
It borders on offensive genius. I don't want to go there yet, but he's worked miracles starting under his father in Washington, then going to San Francisco, and the run game, and with various different quarterbacks. They're always really potent on offense because of Kyle Shanahan.
Right.
So what does it tell you that Kyle Shanahan has done with Jimmy G? Does it tell you that Belichick and Josh McDaniels could do better with Jimmy G than Kyle Shanahan was able to do?
Well, Coach Belichick always believed that. He always believed that he could take your players and get better out of them than what you got.
Okay. Because he basically gave them Jimmy G out of spite. When he got his wrist slapped by the owner up above, Robert Kraft, because Tommy had gone to Daddy and cried, he's trying to get rid of me.
He did.
And at that point, Daddy chose quarterback over coach.
He did.
And coach said, okay, watch this. And he turned right around and made one call that I know of, just made one call to either Kyle Shanahan, who is kind of his protege, kind of like a son to Bill Belichick. Like he has nothing but a high regard for him also. Or maybe to John Lynch, and he just said, hey, have I got a deal for you? How would you like Jimmy G for a second-round pick? And they're like, thank you. We can't do it fast enough.
If I'm not mistaken, then early in the year, he traded Jacoby Brissett for a receiver.
He did. He just gave him away to Indy, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I have a hard time believing that Belichick plus Josh McDaniels could do any better with Jimmy G than we've seen over his fairly lengthy stay now in San Francisco. You can't keep him healthier because that's just, you're either brittle or you're not.
Yeah, he's injury prone.
Okay, he's just injury prone, but he has had some stretches of Aaron Rodgers and he's had some stretches of Mr. Rodgers.
Yes,
that's what he's had.
Exactly.
And so the point is that he's wildly erratic and inconsistent to the point that they finally got right to the precipice. They got to the fourth quarter of the Super Bowl with a lead.
10-point lead.
10-point lead, and he goes 3 of 11 for 36 yards with a pick, and he missed Emmanuel Sanders, as you know, with a late throw on a 3rd and 10
That would have
play.
put him in the lead.
They would have put him in the lead with a minute and a half left, and would it? Here we go again. He missed him by 5 yards. And it's just like a throw of throws. You either make that throw or you don't. And at least he overthrew it. Never up, never in, as they say. You know, like at least he got it there.
Right.
He didn't miss him low. He missed him
You
long.
can't miss it, though.
Yeah,
That's
but he missed it. And the point is, would Patrick Mahomes then have pulled off another miraculous comeback in the last minute 30? He well might have. But the point was that puts you in the lead.
Right.
And that would have wiped out your 3 of 11 for 36 yards
Correct.
that you had in the fourth quarter.
Yes.
And it did not. So the point is, I wouldn't trust him. I don't think he would change life in New England, but it seems like it's come to this for Bill Belichick,
Right.
because your favorite website, Pro Football Focus, warned last week he is at risk, Bill Belichick, of winding up in quarterback purgatory.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he is. He's got Cam on a 1-year deal that's bargain basement. It's like you're trying to just muddle through. And I thought Cam had his moments last year, but only his moments. He went up with 8 touchdown passes to 10 interceptions and a QBR that ranked 30th of 33 quarterbacks qualified. It wasn't good enough.
Right.
That's why you went 7-9 and missed the playoffs. Well, is he going to be that much better this year? Maybe a little better, just out of familiarity.
He knows the system, and probably another year removed from the surgeries. But Skip, the thing is, at 15, if you want a quarterback, what's the likelihood of one of them being there when you select?
One of the top 5
Yeah.
will not be there.
Right.
I'm just convinced they will not be there. Now, knowing Belichick, he's got some diamond in the nowhere you rough. You know,
Right.
like he's found some Ben DiNucci at nowhere you, I don't know. when somebody that you're not thinking of, that people are thinking of as a 6th or 7th round pick,
Right.
and he wants to say, watch this, I got my next Brady.
And that's the thing, though, Skip, because, and I guess that's why everybody said, hold on, you're in the middle, you're right there in the middle at 15.
Yep.
None of the guys that you possibly think play that position will be available. So I guess that's why they have him moving up. But we haven't seen him move up. I mean, if there was something to say, we've seen him spend a few dollars, not like he spent. Stephon Gilmore cost him some money.
Oh.
Adalys Thomas cost him some money.
Yep.
But not like this. They went overboard. I mean, they spent the most money in free agency. We haven't seen this. What we've never, ever seen, because we have seen him spend some money, is that I don't know if we've seen him move up in the draft. He normally will slide back. I
Okay.
want more picks.
Okay, to me, he overpaid right and left, but he went first in free agency
Right.
because they felt desperate enough.
Right.
We got to go first. So if you go first, you're going to overpay for
Right.
right down the line everybody you got. Well, you restock the cupboard. I give you that. But the problem is there is this hard cap in pro football. I think there is, except at Tampa Bay. That's the only team that doesn't have a cap. But the point is, you have strapped yourself so hard against the cap that unless you find that diamond in the draft rough, I don't know how you get out of quarterback.
Well, sometimes you got to be first, Skip. Sometimes, you know,
Okay.
if you second, she gone.
If
the
you
guy
ain't-
beat you to the punch.
As Ricky Bobby said, if you ain't first, you're
Yeah.
last.
Just think, if you'd call first or you'd
Yeah.
press send first, Coach Belichick says, hey, I was first with Matt Judon, I was first with
Okay,
this one.
but the problem is, when it comes to NFL free agency, if you're first, you're last, right? That's the problem.
Well, Skip, he had a lot of holes he had to fill.
Okay. Well, he spent like a madman.
Yeah, we
and
need
it
it.
reeked of desperation, and yet he spent everywhere but the position. You have to have a quarterback.
Well,
and
the-
unfortunately, his ex-quarterback is probably the favorite right now. I would make him my favorite
Right.
to win next year's Super Bowl.
Well, Skip, there were a quarterback that came available that said, you can trade me anywhere except there. Matthew Stafford said, I will go anywhere.
He did.
But I don't want to go there.
Correct?
Well,
Okay.
he could have made that. That could have made. Do you believe Coach Belichick would have been willing to give up that? Maybe he doesn't view Matthew Stafford like a lot of other people around the NFL circles view Matthew Stafford. So that might not have been an option. Although Matthew Stafford said he didn't want to go there, maybe Coach Belichick didn't want him there.
Okay.
So we'll never know. But I just know at 15, the likelihood. Now it could happen. We've seen it happen before. The likelihood that one of these quarterbacks falls in his lap at 15, but it's not likely.
It's not likely, which brings us to the final derby that's still out there yet to commence, and that's for Deshaun Watson.
Right.
But we don't know about all the civil suits that are piled up against him. We don't know how that's going to play out in court or with the NFL.
Right.
And is it possible Belichick could get in? That's the kind of move he would make if it came down to